There's too much division in this world. There's too much finger pointing. There's too much me versus you and not enough us. There's just not enough of it. And in this world, we're becoming more used to being divided. So I just want to say this, okay? If there's anybody out there that's using this show to escape, I'll talk about this as much as you'd like to discuss it at 844-204-RICH today. But no Eagles players knelt during the regular season and postseason last year. Nobody. None of them. None of them took to a knee. None of them sat. Not one of them. The guy who initially started kneeling was sitting in Colin Kaepernick. He took a knee when Nate Boyer, who fought for our country in many different times, said, how about trying kneeling? Because we in the armed forces, we take a knee when we're in thought. Nate Boyer is the one who told Colin Kaepernick to do this. Not a single one of the players who have taken a knee or anything of that nature did so because they were anti-military. Not a single NFL player has ever taken the field prior to a game during the national anthem and say, you know what? I'm anti-Army, I'm anti-Navy, I'm anti-Marines, I'm anti-Coast Guard, I'm anti-Air Force. Not a single one of them. Not one. Not a single Eagles player took to a knee last year. I want to repeat that. Not one. Fox News showed Eagles players kneeling last night when they were reporting. Let me get this right. Hold on a minute. The bottom of the screen said Philadelphia Eagles won't attend White House ceremony. Okay. Now, I'm sure what will come out today will be the number of Eagles that said they weren't coming. How many houses would you go to if you were called a son of a bitch by the person who was in the house? How many? How many of you? I tell my kids all the time, when you say something negative or you're going to say something that could be possibly construed by somebody else as confrontational, you've got to accept the consequences. You've got to accept it. I don't know what else to say other than the fact that Carson Wentz, who was disinvited to the White House, raised $850,000 for his AO1 Foundation this past weekend in a charity softball event. That money's going towards a sports complex in Haiti, a youth camp in North Dakota, a food truck for those in need in Philadelphia. Chris Long donated his entire salary last year. 6 game checks went to fund scholarships in Charlottesville, which, as we all know, was overrun by Nazis last year, in which a young lady lost her life, and people were taking to the streets saying the most awful things in an American city. 10 game checks went to promote educational opportunity and equity in the 3 cities in which he's played football, Philadelphia, Boston, and St. Louis. Torrey Smith, who has been very vocal in responding to the president on Twitter, has a family fund, a scholarship fund for kids, as well as youth programs and more. Malcolm Jenkins has a foundation. He has the same situation with a scholarship fund and youth programs for kids and more. And also, he has been to Congress. He has walked the walk. He is trying to affect change through things like, wait a minute, democracy, freedom. The Eagles Autism Challenge that just went down in Philadelphia, where several players and coaches and front office staff and the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, who I might add was scheduled to attend this White House ceremony today, through bike rides and runs and walks in the rain, by the way, in May in Philadelphia, raised $2.5 million, $2.5 million bucks. We spent the weekend in Kansas City. 4 members of the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line showed up, hung out with kids, sick kids all day. Not a single one of them did what? Did they ask for attention for it? Did they do anything? We saw them on Saturday night as well.
Not one bit.
Okay, with their families. I mean, this goes on and on and on and on and on. I don't know what else to say, people. Again, Fox News showed players in prayer taking a knee as video while they talked about how the Eagles were disinvited to the or won't attend White House ceremony. They since apologized for it, but I don't know how many of their anchors is going to be reading that information today. Zach Ertz, one of the players who was seen kneeling on Fox News last night as video over the news report that the players won't attend the White House ceremony today. Zach Ertz was praying before the game. So I just want to use this moment to basically say to everybody, let's all get along. And I know that's pie in the sky. I'm not going to sit here and bash anybody. I just can't. I don't know what else to say. But the words political football, and you could say, well, the players did it during the national anthem and they're making it political. What they're doing is calling attention to inequality in America that not all of us understand or face. That's what they are doing. And hardly any of them were going to take a knee in September before last month's new policy was put into place. So the idea, again, as Jerry Jones said, let's put the policy in place so we can get the focus back on the field, not on anything else. And I don't think that's working out so far. So I don't know what plan B is going to be. But all I know is that I don't believe I'm on my high horse, but I have been to the White House, and it's the people's house. I saw many different paintings of past presidents throughout the White House. I saw that. Not just one party. It's the people's house. It's our house. We own it. It's our taxpayer dollars. It's our own. We own it. And many presidents before have had players not show up and come up with reasons why they couldn't show up because they didn't agree with their policies. Nobody else canceled the events. I don't remember that happening before. So all I want to say is, again, not a single player that was disinvited to this White House. And I don't care. I don't care how many, and then the numbers are going to come out. And I bet you they're going to be minuscule who's going to show up and how embarrassing that would have been for the Oval Office holder. Well, that's a made bed. That bed was made. So I don't really want to know about the number of players that were going to show up or not. To me, that's insignificant. What is significant is everybody needs to know the players that were disinvited, not a single one of them took a knee on the national anthem last year. Not one. Didn't happen during the Super Bowl, didn't happen in the playoffs, didn't happen during the regular season. Not one. Malcolm Jenkins, fist in the air. Chris Long put his hand on his shoulder. This was in the aftermath of Charlottesville. Quite a moving moment, I might add, during the preseason. Just want to know.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.